Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, April 25th, Sunday, April 26th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, Tessa TNT, and I hope you guys have been taking advantage of this time together, spending quality time with your family, trying not to lose your marbles, and enjoying the sunshine. It's actually a really nice week, starting just yesterday here in Colorado. But thank you again for joining us on one of our mini outlets. We are on Spreaker under We Are Paradox Media, and that's where our live chat is. We're on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there tonight. We have the Paradox Paranormal Forum, and we have Miss Mea Savage from Phoenix. Hello, Mea.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you. We have Robert White from Australia. And hello, Robert. That's Queensland, right? Queensland, Australia. I know he was muted a little earlier because the birds.
Not too sure if this is coming through properly yet, but.
And then we have Sleepy Dave Davenport, our weekday host from Scottsdale, Arizona. Welcome, Sleepy. Hello. We had no worries. We had a pretty choppy start trying to get a hold of Mr. Kirkby from the UK. Sorry, my AI was trying to come on my phone and it distracted me, but I think he did not wake up in time, but I'm so glad you guys could be here. I was also trying to get our YouTube, Twitch, Facebook thing through Streamlabs, OBS, but that was not working tonight. It was causing all kinds of issues, so I got to figure that out this week. But don't worry, you guys, we'll be back live on video, hopefully tomorrow or next week. All right, so we have so many things going on in our life right now, so many different topics that we want to talk about. Let's begin with... We'll start with you, Sleepy Dave. We'll go in alphabetical order.
I just want to say, in generalities, there's a huge tension and huge spiritual war going on. I think people can feel it. Some call it. Some have been calling it. I've noticed in certain, not necessarily paranormal circles. Some of our. It's called the event. And I started hearing about this thing called. And I'll just talk about the event. Just one portion of this huge paranormal. I think awakening. If some people want to call, they know something big is coming within themselves, within their souls or spirit. Lay aside their beliefs for a minute, whether they believe in Buddha or, the tree next door. The event. So I started first hearing about the event in 2017. And I'm like, what? Okay, what is the event? And at first I'm thinking, and I'm trying to read all I can about it. And I don't know if at the time if it was a specific event, like at this time, like Burning Man, it would be a specific event. Right. But so I found this guy and started tracking him and watching his videos, and he would talk about the Mandela effect and CERN, and he knew a lot about CERN and was tracking CERN, what CERN was doing. And so he'd have a lot of information about CERN, and he'd send, articles and references and, legitimate stuff. But he was just a little wacky, I thought, in his beliefs about timelines and shiftings and things like this. And he was one of these groups that kept talking about the event. And if you go back and listen to Terrence McKenna in the late 90s with Art Bell, he talks of time wave zero, a certain event, something big coming. So collectively, people from whatever belief or system they have or don't have, can agree that something has been cultivating. I mean, go look and listen on some of the old paranormal shows. I mean, it's the rumblings were even then, and now we're in the midst of it. I mean, look at what we're in. They've just done locked down the world. I'm not trying to play down the virus, but man, that's all it took. And you're in your house, and you can't. Some people are saying you're essential. Other people are being refused medical. And the list goes on. So I'll just end it there. But this is the big event, and this is what it's still called, the event. So I think this is what is culminating now. Would be what these people have been calling the event, the great shift in consciousness. There's so many different terms for the same thing. That's why I don't really like buzzwords when we're dealing with paranormal things. That's all. I mean, it's nothing personal against anybody, though I may come off that way at some times to people, because I'm passionate about, the truth of things. And it's amazing to me that 30 years of investigations and paranormal experiences and what we would perceive as time shifts or Mandela effects, these things are the evidence the researchers have been looking for. Willful denial, in my opinion, and it's just mine, is willful denial at this stage in the so-called game. And that is all. All in there.
Well, I've heard a lot of things, and the thing that really concerns me is when the Spanish flu was going on, a lot of states decided, hey, we're going to come out early. And they decided to open up the borders or open up their businesses or whatnot. And they ended up being in limbo or being in debt for much longer than had they just stuck with it in the first place.
You can't. It's true. Yeah, you can't keep people cooped up. And I'm not saying go be like a fool, go to the beaches and don't protect yourself. By God, man, if you're going to go out, protect yourself. At least be smart. Use your common sense. That is all. It's Spanish flu.
Well, yeah, and you can't ask for anything more. And generally, I wear my gloves and my mask, but it's weird. I've had crazy paranormal experiences this week, and I put my mask under my gloves, and then when I went to grab them today, because I went to cash my stimulus check, my gloves were there right where I left them, but my mask underneath them was gone. I looked everywhere around where I put it. It's nowhere to be found. Where the hell did it go? I ordered some better ones online that have filters that you can change out and such, but it really made me uncomfortable. And it was funny when I went in the store today, I was not wearing a mask, but there were so many people wearing masks now, like the majority was. And then I felt like the minority because I wasn't wearing mine today. Even though I had one, I could not find it, but I still had to go and cash my check and get water and other things for my family.
See how they're acclimating people now to already feel normal without your mask, and it's been less than 5 days.
Well, now they're making it here. You can't go into the post office or you can't go into the store without masks, and they're trying to enforce it, but they don't know how to without getting lawsuits. But everybody's life depends on it,
But I understand, but you can't. See, this is the circus why everybody's teetering on. This is the point that all the so-called rights activists, constitutionalists, have been screaming at for years. The Second Amendment, just for an example, wasn't written for hunters. It was written, to protect themselves against its tyrannical government, which way they wanted to escape from.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot. Bill Gates is no doctor. Shut the F up about vaccines, Bill. Sit back down.
Shut the front door, Bill.
Vaccinate your kids then. Vaccinate your kids, Bill. Why didn't you vaccinate them, huh? Sorry.
No, seriously. This is the stuff.
What's Project 201 or whatever it is? What is that? 201. What the heck is that, Bill? I don't buy now that there are factions like Anonymous or Q or anything like that. I have a friend of mine who's, helped me out and things. I always took those organizations with a grain of salt because anybody behind a computer, you don't know who you're dealing with.
This right now with the way social media is, these agent provocateurs that used to kind of have to hide in the shadows and kind of have to maneuver spyways. Now they'll just come out right with a show and disinfo it and half truth it all the way, and they'll find followers all the while turning in your. I mean, it's over now. You know, now this is where I talk about going back to the spiritual. It's a spiritual war because no man can save you or me.
It is, but on the positive side, people who have had near-death experiences or hard things happen to them within their lifetime where they felt like they were threatened are generally more awakened. Their higher chakras are invoked, and they it's a greater expansion of consciousness on a global scale right now. You know, people, you know, I use the term millennials, but really I mean the Z generation or whatever it is. They have grown up. They don't even know how to interact. It's all, you know, phones and technology. So they're kind of very detached from reality and fear and the things that can actually happen to us. So for them, I think this might actually be a positive thing, seeing that children, for the most part, are not necessarily immune, but it will wake them up. They need something. You know, my generation had, you know, Columbine and all those things, right? And then they're having this huge thing that's going to wake them up and expand their consciousness, all the indigo children and stuff. So I'm just saying, like, I think everyone, doesn't matter your age, it's going to wake you up in some way, shape, or form.
Right, well, I agree, but I was just thinking yesterday, how many of us were vaccinated? Were you vaccinated? I was. I'm not autistic. You know, I have a lot wrong with me, but it's nothing to do with vaccinations. It's due to my upbringing and different things that I went through. I think there's a lot right with me, but other people might look at me and think there's a lot wrong with me.
Have to go, I believe, on a case-by-case basis. If somebody wants to get it, I believe in the right to choose. I don't believe in forced anything. This is what I'm against. And you can't...
Well, yeah, it shouldn't be forced. It should be your choice. And I made a choice when Nova was a little baby and the doctor said, hey, you don't have to give her this vaccination right now. You can wait a couple months. I wish to God that I would have done it right then instead of waiting, because now she has to use 2 different inhalers, and every time something comes around, she not only catches it, but she catches it 10 times worse. Had I given her that freaking pertussis vaccination, she would not be going through this right now. She'd be healthy like the rest of my kids. And then I look at myself and my siblings. We all were vaccinated. My aunt who adopted me, she was vaccinated. My parents, none of us had autism. Autism is a genetic anomaly, a genetic thing that happens to certain families. It's not because you decided to get a vaccination and, oh my God, there's mercury or there's this or there's that in it. I'm fine. And so many people I know are fine. And there's a small spectrum that are autistic. And they're basically right there, right by the line of genius. You know, I used to watch my nephew playing with cards, and he'd take the deck, and it was like 52 card pickup. He'd flip it into the air, and then he'd start picking them up. And I noticed he wasn't going closest to him farther out. He was picking certain ones. The more I watched, he was actually doing them in numeric and whatever order that they went out. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I could not even like see all of that, but he could.
Yeah. And to know which order to go in, I mean, he'd be a great dealer. I mean, a kid like that.
So my fiance, he's got a nephew that's autistic, and what happened with a cousin or a nephew, I'm not sure, but he told me this story that one time when he was I think it was his cousin's house, actually. He was at his uncle's house with this autistic kid, and the autistic kid grabbed the keys to his truck and threw them in like mud, like water, mud, swampy area, like completely again, right? And so he got scolded big time. He's like, find my keys. The autistic kid reached his hand into the mud after coming back to the house, took him to the mud, showed him where he threw the keys, reached it in the middle of the mud and found them, just pulled them right out. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, he knew exactly where it went. It's like, hey, can you look at this treasure map and tell us where exactly this treasure is? I mean, it's insane.
Like, he knew exactly.
But it's amazing.
Just stuck his hands in there and grabbed them like nothing. But I'm with you on the vaccines, though. If I had children, I do not have children, but if I did, like, I worm my animals. You know, I vaccinate my animals because I want to protect them. And so if I had children, I would probably do the same thing, seeing as I was vaccinated. Mm-hmm. However, my mother's generation, she complains of an issue with the vaccine. This
yeah, it's on the shoulder. Does she have the circle with like the 5 spots in it, or 5 or 6 little dots around the circle on the inside?
No, it's because
my mom.
It's a shingles issue that also, like, she doesn't get the shingles outbreak, but she gets like nerve pain like throughout her body, and she's convinced it was because of like the mumps or the one of those vaccines that she got as a child, or polio. I don't know what it was for, but she got a vaccine. But that was
I think it was the measles. It was the measles, and it was right here on the left arm, and it left a scar that was a circle, and it had little dots on the inside of it, because that's how the needle looked. It was like several different needles going in at once.
Yeah, I think it was the measles, because she has like, it's not the shingles like outbreak, but she has like nerve pain, like that she, and I've done a little research on it, and she says it's like fire and shooting. I have nerve pain right now, so I sympathize with her.
Oh my gosh, that has to do with chicken pox. What the heck is that called?
Yes. Shingles.
Shingles, yes. Yeah. My brother-in-law has it, and they were like, hey, you need to quit drinking, so on and so forth. He wouldn't quit drinking, but it eventually went away. Had he quit drinking, it would have gone away a lot quicker.
I think it goes both ways, though. Like, vaccinating, I'm all for, but as far as flu shots, I'm not down. Just because
me neither.
I had a personal bad experience with flu shot. I think it depends on which company is, you know, which pharmaceutical company has, and how long it's been out and how long it's been around, you know. As far as like the coronavirus, when they make a vaccine, I probably won't get it, because I was tested for corona, and I don't have it, by the way. I wasn't sick or anything. But I don't know. The chances of me getting it are very slim. But I don't think I want to get.
You weren't sick. You were just curious.
No, I got talked into it. Basically, a friend gave us an ultimatum, and we're kind of renting his house right now. And it was like, either go. He won't get near us. He's completely paranoid. Wow. He's from Italy. He's our Italian friend. He won't even get near his own children. And
so bad over there.
They haven't even been in Italy, though. Like, nobody in his family's been in Italy, but he won't get near his own children because he's that paranoid. He made everyone around him get it. So it's kind of just to make him happy, because he's kind of doing us a favor with the house. So we're like, okay, we'll go get her. Even though I haven't left since before the quarantine, I'll go ahead and do it.
Well, in Italy, it's bad, you know. And I mentioned this, I think, last show, but there was an 87-year-old guy. His wife had died last year. He just had his birthday. He's right down the road from where they take all the caskets with the bodies, and the Catholic priests do the last rites. And then they take a little forklift, and they put everybody in a truck, and they take them to get cremated, and then they reuse the caskets, which I think is really strange. They shouldn't be doing that.
This is in Italy?
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know real quick, Tessa. I think Jim's been trying to join in on the call here on the air, so you might want to add him.
Okay, let me add him. But this guy, okay, let me double click on here. Okay, so this guy, he had his birthday. He didn't have his wife, and he could not spend it with his kids or grandkids, because this guy is smart. He's not gonna infect them, and he doesn't want to be infected by them. At the same time, I'm here. I'm staying home unless I have to go to the store. I wear my gloves. I wear my mask. My husband goes in with gloves but has no mask, and I'm like, you're totally counteracting what I'm trying to do right here. And then I don't know. I don't think I'm paranoid. I think I'm just using my common sense and trying to be smart about things, and thinking, hey, why are you not just staying in the truck and letting me do this? It'd be a lot quicker that way anyways. But this guy spent his birthday alone without his family. My husband right now is out on the ranch gaming some Wild West game with his family, and he thinks they're safe because they're so far out there on the ranch. Do you not realize that they go places like the store, post office, etc., and they have people out there like they not looking out like they should be, and I don't think it's fair to subject my kids, my family, to that. I think it's reckless.
It is.
I agree. I have a lot of friends who want to hang out right now, and one of them, she calls me from like multiple stores in one day, and then she's like, "Oh, good. So can I come over in like 3 days?" And I'm like, "Well, you've been to like 4 stores today." Even though she's OCD, that's the only reason why I will allow her, is because she's OCD, and she also works from home, and so I don't, and so does her husband, so I don't worry too much. But at the same time, I'm like, I cringe when somebody's like, "Want me to come over and bring you this?" You know, they're being nice, they're my friends, and I have a broken leg, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, I know, it's
my immune
hard.
system is down right now. I actually
You're like, can you leave it at the front door?
right? But no offense, but
send me a video message or something.
Right? You can mail it. You can mail that ramen to me. Like, I'll be here.
Did you spray that with Lysol before you left? But right? I wanted to.
That's what I asked her.
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying, and then I'll go on.
Oh, they started me on peptides, which, I mean, I'm in skincare, or very familiar with skincare, and peptides are excellent for your skin and cell regrowth and hair regrowth and all kinds of stuff, right? And so this cool, crazy Italian doctor that I got my coronavirus test from, he has me on these injectables, which are scary because I've never injected anything into my body by myself before. I actually haven't done it today, but it's supposed to help the healing process of things, because your body makes natural peptides anyway, right? But this is just like adding more to it. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of experimental, but it's kind of more of a naturopathic type of a treatment, basically. And so I'm very curious as to if this works. It's supposed to boost your immune system, make the healing process so much faster, cell turnover, everything. It's amazing. So I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Anybody who is interested in like naturopathic, or not natural, yeah, kind of naturopathic remedies.
Well, then we have silence. I just wanted to welcome Jim from the Isles of Scotland. Jim, welcome. Can you tell our listeners where you're from and what exactly is going on in your world, in your neck of the woods?
Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I live on the west coast of the island of Lewis, 50 miles out in the North Atlantic. And we've only had 6 cases of this fake virus. No fatalities. And people are getting restless on the mainland about this lockdown carry on, or more and more people saying, well, wait a minute. The people that are dying, they're dying because of the illnesses they've already carrying. Most of them are over 80. And the doctors have been forced to falsify a death certificate. No, that's a criminal offence. But, you know, a guy gets hit with a kamikaze seagull, mark it down as COVID-19, because that's what they're doing. Probably due to COVID-19. It could probably due to a bad beef burger, or they didn't defrost the chicken properly, or something like that. You know, don't want to make light of it. But really, if you did that 5 years ago, you know, if you were a doctor, we call them GPs, general practitioners, you'd be struck off, maybe let you back on in 3 or 4 years or something like that. But people are getting restless because they're beginning to see through this whole thing. You'll get Mr. Gates, who wants to reduce the world's population to 500 million. I don't think he includes his family somehow. And the same with the rest of these characters. It's beginning to what people will be becoming aware of what actually is going on. And I was listening to an American doctor, I think her name is Michael. She was jailed for 5 years for releasing this information because because she was telling people exactly what it is that they're going to do. That's exactly what they've done. They've released a lot of bioweapons, different forms. And it's spread all over the place. Even Russia, I think they've got about 2,000 people dead now. And a point that she made that she worked in the bio-warfare labs for 18 years. And a face mask will stop anything. It's not meant to. If it goes onto your skin, it'll go through the pores of your skin. It's really quite, you wonder how long they've been working away at this. And they've been working away at this carry on for decades. It was quite interesting. She's on the Jim Moses show. He's got 2 of our interviews. It's on YouTube, and they're well worth watching. So the story here is that because we've only had 6 cases, we might be among the first to have lockdowns done. But they're still not letting anybody other than essential workers back onto the island. You must prove your residency on the island by like a utility bill or something like that, or else they won't let you on the ferry if you're coming by the ferry. There's no aircraft other than the postal aircraft that comes in with the mail. There's the medevac planes are on standby, and the hospital, as far as we can determine, is empty of anybody. So that's the state of play on the Isle of Lewis.
Yeah, it's been really crazy everywhere, and the numbers are weird. They've hit other places harder than others. Just like New York City, they've already got over 10,000 people that have passed away due to this, and a lot of people are like, well, this isn't due to coronavirus. No, it's due to complications due to coronavirus. It's just like if you have AIDS and you get pneumonia, you die from complications of pneumonia, being you had the AIDS virus. Had you not had it, you might not have died, and that's kind of the same thing. It attacks your immune system, and it's scary. And like you said, you guys have only had 8 cases there, but everybody's pretty spread apart, and not everybody goes through the store at the same time. But I don't know. It's just I never thought I'd be in times like this. It's pretty crazy to me.
Right? Last summer, I'm not kidding you. So I don't think that this whole thing is a 100% conspiracy, but considering that it came from a lab, it's at least 50% conspiracy.
It came from the Wuhan lab that was 2 blocks away from the freaking market where the first case came from.
But how did one like slip of a bat or one slip of a person who was infected, or however they want, how did one of those affect the entire world within 3 months? I mean, that to me does not make sense. Like Chewbacca, that does not make sense.
Well,
Chewbacca does not make sense.
That's a simple question to answer. If it's a
why is Bigfoot on Mars?
It's a simple answer, really. If it's a biological weapon, then that means they must have had a plan. So you're going to have all your chess pieces in place for the attack. I mean, any Yahoo who looks at 12 monkeys. Look at the guy. One guy went from one place, flying every major city in every major country, spread a symptom within. That's how. It's very easy for that person to walk down the street from the lab, spit. I mean, look at the video we see of that Chinese lady I saw the other day spitting on food. She was arrested. I don't think that was in the UK. It looks like a UK outfit. I could be wrong. But hold on, Mel. But it's simple like that. If they could take it in their little suitcases, however they transfer it, whatever. They could find out if people are immune to it and just be carriers. There's so many ways that we don't know, and this is the problem. But that's logical. Right? Just position your chess pieces and then, make the call attack and release it simultaneously. Doom, 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 all over. I'm sure
I felt this last summer. I felt it in the mix. I could not explain the dreams and the intense feelings that I felt last summer. Like it was in the works. It was in the works last summer, whatever it is. Like I picked up on something huge, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought I was going to die. I mean, that's how intense this was. Yes, it was between. Yes.
I mean, something I was telling my friends. I
ignored it like I do most of the time.
I told my buddy, I said, you get out of the East Coast, man. Something big is coming. I said, not just here, but everywhere. I don't know what it is. It's going to affect everybody. I said, and if we don't, for some reason, if we don't get out of the East Coast, I said, so.
And he looked at you like you were crazy.
Right. And then a year and 3 months later, he ends up dying. So I don't know if that was, a blessing and from God to save him from the COVID. They doesn't have to live through this madness or what. So that's why I try to kind of look at it as, because.
That's intense.
Yeah. But that's a different story. But yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I had a friend staying with me, and she had a bit of an alcohol problem. She's fine now, which is crazy. She's enrolled in school. She's gotten sober, but I have never seen her that bad as when I was feeling these feelings in one day. And she's very intuitive. We're like soulmates in a sense, like we were like related, in past life, in another dimension, our souls are part of the same star, whatever you want to call it, and she one day was at my house staying there. We were working on music together. That's why I brought her out, and she woke up and she was screaming. She thought she was going to die. She felt like she was going to die, and she's a strong person. I've seen her go through a lot of things, and this lasted for like 2 days. I was worried. I thought she was going to die. I started to feel, I'm like, I didn't feel that for her, but she believed it so much. I'm like, is there something that I'm not seeing? Because I did every type of reading I can do around her. I didn't see any threats. I didn't see any like imminent danger, but she picked up on it so hard, probably. And yeah, she just texted me. How weird is that? See how close we are? That's pretty crazy.
Synchronicity. But yeah, it was, I would go, I thought they were, they felt much like, not anxiety attacks, though I had many symptoms of, but I would get flashes or movie scenes. Like, it was like more like memories, or it was almost like quantum leaping back, and I would pace back and forth, and it drove me crazy. And a lot of it was due to, God bless you, other stuff going on. But for the long time, like you said, you couldn't shake this.
Bless you.
You go outside, I look around, I'm like, and I'm like, what's coming? I'm like, what? Let me in on it.
Yeah.
So.
I never think sometimes that I didn't think it was going to be on such a grand scale, but I've never experienced anything like that before, like what I experienced for months last year was something that I have never experienced before. And I thought, okay, I'm just awakening, and there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel. This just has something to do. Maybe I'm going to die. Maybe something bad's going to happen to me or to someone that I know. And I'm just being prepared with all of these crazy, insane feelings and dreams and things that I'm picking up on. And I had no idea, but now I know, now I know when it's that intense that it's going to be on a global scale type of thing. I've never experienced that probably since 9/11. But I mean, I was young during that time, but that's when the day that it happened, before anybody even said a word, I freaked out. I was on my way to the school bus stop, and I had no idea what was going on. And I was already like, I was just almost wanted to just bawl and cry. And I couldn't figure out why. I had no idea. I just wanted to like curl up in a ball, like on the street corner. And then I got to the bus, and that's when I found out, like when I got on the bus, what happened. It's intense. Yeah, like I'm tearing up even thinking about it. But
that day, well, that was like a major train wreck compared to the global impact. I mean, but those were what we call birth pains or pains of signs, just more, and a lot of people are discovering their plans in a lot of these old, news articles and quotes from corporations and Rockefeller and this and that. And it's like, I've talked about this before. No. Okay. Well, at least people are waking up. Yeah. Now they don't like it. They don't like what's going on. They don't like being told, they're taking your temperatures now. They're flying drones in certain areas to take your temperature. When how can you determine whether I'm infected or not by my temperature when, number one, you accidentally sent out tainted tests? There was. I had a link on my Facebook to that article.
Yes, the validity of the tests. I was laughing because I got tested, and I'm like, if I come back positive for coronavirus, then the entirety thing is a scam. The entire thing is a hoax, because there is no way. I have not left the house in almost 2 months. Like there is no way. Like a month and 3 weeks. Yeah.
Something's going on, but I've heard it. Watching these old news videos and watching these clips from these guys that present what they say, and one of them was, like you said, they die of one cause. If they have a heart attack, but they had COVID, they're going to say that they died of COVID instead of a heart attack.
There was an infant fatality, I believe it was in Connecticut, and the governor posted on Twitter that the first infant fatality due to COVID-19 had happened. I can't remember the governor's name. I do believe it was in Connecticut, and the parents were just enraged. It was a tragic accident that happened to an infant, to a small child, probably under 2 or 3 years old, and they tried to say, they posted it publicly. The governor, knowingly that this kid either drowned, they didn't give details, or got something very tragic happened to this child, nothing to do with COVID. And the parents were so mad. They were trying to spread it out on Instagram and Facebook and saying, my child did not die of COVID. Regardless of whether they tested the kid for COVID or not, that's disrespectful to the family to do that publicly like that.
And you're so right, because if people go back and read some of the first reports, I screenshotted a lot of this. A lot of it I saved, and a lot of the links I saved that way. Because I knew they disappear quick, and they have. And they've gone through. There was bonds that was talked about. They were going to call them COVID bonds or what, maybe or something bonds, but they were going to sell bonds to these countries with high infection rates. And it had to do with what it is now. I saw a meme the other day. With ventilators, if the patient dies of COVID, they get X amount of thousands. If they use a ventilator, they get 39,000 or whatever the figure was. Well, this was all discussed in these articles that I screenshotted and read through. And when you get an event like 201, how? Like I say, it goes all back to what I said earlier: willful denial. I'm not downplaying the virus. Something out there killing people. It's a bioweapon. Whether it can mimic your, let's say, heart symptoms or whatever it's going, terminal illness or diabetes. Whether it enhances the symptoms and that what causes you to die. Who knows what it does?
It's like the AIDS medication that supposedly helps with it that has been so under-publicized. I read this deal about some guy personally posting that he had it, and he also had this AIDS medication. I'm not sure what it's called, and it literally cured him. He tested negative, whatever. And where is that? Now
well, they do have it, and
take shots of Lysol or whatever.
Yeah, that's the most recent. Before it was that Chlora whatever shenanigans, because it was donated. Now it's Lysol and other shenanigans. It's like, don't put that in your body. They're also talking about using UV rays to burn this virus out of your system. Well, what else is it burning out of your system? So there's so many different variations going on and so many different ways that they're trying to help. But still, it's just crazy.
I saw what he said, right? And the only way I could explain, and if you notice, every president says such wacky stuff. You go back and you look at Bush Jr. saying this, and it does make sense. This comment came up more than once over a period of years on YouTube about mind control and the technology that they have. And the best explanation, one of the guys says, the reason why they talk like that is, he explained, they shoot a beam at you. I don't know if it's true or not. He could be making it up, but it made for interesting reading. Basically, whatever they can scramble your brain and, the subliminal messages, and you can talk a sentence backwards or rearrange the words. Just like when he said, we work hard to put food on your family. We work hard to, there's several other quotes. Same thing with, Trump. These the same warfare, silent weapons for quiet wars could be used on him. We don't know. And it is so scary that sort of spy world, of government agencies. We tend to forget about it because the cameras are so in our faces and we're used to it. How much higher has the tech gone now? I mean, if Dr. Delgado could push a button and make a bull stop, he's charging at him. And then same thing, I could go through other examples, though you don't take time. But what can they do now in 2020?
Yeah, and we still don't even know how it's spread. Is it spread through the air? Is it spread from being around somebody for more than 30 minutes? We have no way to tell right now how exactly it's spread, so it's good to protect yourself in every way possible. It was funny, yesterday I went to the dollar store to get some last minute things for my daughter's birthday, and my husband was checking out first and I was checking out secondary because we pay for our stuff separately. And the guy is like, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step back about 3 feet." I was like, this is my husband. Like, he's stuck with my cooties. There's no way he's getting away from me. And we were talking about it today in the line at Walmart because we're trying to cash our check, which we try to go to the bank. And they're like, well, you guys aren't on a account together. And I'm like, well, can we just sign him up as a signer? No, we can't do that on Saturdays. So we went to Walmart and paid an $8 fee and got a $4,400 check cashed. But yeah, we generally would have gone to the casino and got it done for free, but Walmart does it for $8, which is way better than the Emerald card for $35 to pull off the other half,
Or you got yours mailed to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Emerald card as well?
Yes, and we got Vern did. He got the forefront where you get the loan from H&R Block and then you get the rest of it later, which only took another week. But yeah, he wanted money right now, which it took about a few hours to get. So they don't put it on your card, they send it to you.
Okay, so they're good. So they said they mailed it out the 24th, so we'll see if it comes.
That's what they said to me too.
You can fill out direct deposit as well, though.
Yeah, if you go in, I tried to go in and do that, but it was so logged up, it wouldn't let me through. And then once I went through again, they already scheduled it to be delivered the 24th, which I went on the 24th and checked my mail, and there it was. So that was cool. So check your mail. Check your mailio.
At the very beginning, I put in my bank info, and it didn't go in there. And then I got suddenly a message last week saying it's going to be mailed on the 24th. I'm like, mailed? All right, whatever.
Well, on that note, you guys, we do have to go to our first musical break, and I saved this for Robert being on the air because I know how much he loves reggae and such. On this break, we have Mr. Britt Casey, actually Hosni Bronx, and he's originally from Jamaica, but he also hails from the Bronx, and he's going to be singing Free Child and Dances the Lion, and then we have Mr. King Cinnamon with Rosie. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this musical break.
Who decided this life? yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Rosie. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Rosie. Mukomukeji, go bere muketa. Oya mukomukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi, omo ni ejo. Daddy saucy, omo ni ejo. Daddy kosi, omo ni ejo. Daddy turn him pussy, omo ni ejo. Daddy and his baby, them dey for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl dey holla. Now daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Now something come up, daddy begin the suck am. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi, omo ni ejo. Daddy saucy, omo ni ejo. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Rosie. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Rosie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Fisi, amani, ejo. Daddy saucy, amani, ejo. Daddy kosi, amani, ejo. Daddy Daddy contact, harmony, ejo, daddy comfort. Daddy consist, harmony, ejo, daddy con 8. Daddy 120, harmony, ejo, daddy 18. Daddy 240, harmony, ejo, daddy 36. Daddy and the baby, them day for corner. Begin the touch and the girl the holla. Daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Something come, daddy begin the sucker. Daddy move, echo, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi, omo ni ejo. Daddy saucy, omo ni ejo. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Paradox Paranormal Forum. Tonight we have Mr. Sleepy Dave Davenport from Phoenix, actually Scottsdale, Arizona. We have Mea Savage from Phoenix, Arizona. Robert White from Australia. And we also have Mr. Jim Morris from the West Isles of Scotland. Welcome back, you guys, and thanks so much for hanging out on the Paradox Paranormal Forum.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Thank you.
So the next person we were going to go to was Mr. Jim. Jim, is there a certain topic that you wanted to talk about this evening?
Yeah,
as far as the paranormal?
It's about the standing stones at Callanish. We had a team of archaeologists working at the standing stones, and they discovered a very large electromagnetic anomaly underneath the stones. And they got very advanced groundbreaking radar, and they made a photograph. I don't know if I can post it here. It's a radar picture. A giant star-shaped lightning burst. And Dr. Bates, the head of the team, he said that it's obvious that in the centre there must have been a very large standing stone or a tree, but the number of lightning strikes, one huge one that made this star-shaped impression in the rock, and a lot of smaller ones, and he says it's clear that this must be linked to the people's religious beliefs at the time. It's obviously a sign of great importance. But the thing is that this is a single standing stone that's left. There are two stone henges there, two henges as we call them. There's the one that you've seen the pictures of, I think. I've sent them before. But this is just a single stone that's still above the ground. And it's under this stone, this magnetic anomaly is located. And it certainly, it was reported in Russia on Sputnik News. So it must have had some effect on the world archaeology. It's that they don't know what it is and what caused it. But he went on to add there's at least 5 other stone circles on the island. Now, some of these stones weigh 20 tons, at least, probably more. So you've got to quarry the stone, you've got to shape it, then you've got to haul it to where you're going to erect the stones. That's an awful lot of work. I just wonder how many people were actually involved in building some of these things. And they said, ultimately, there might be as many as 15. So why on earth would you want to go and build 15 of these things? You know, normally one would have been enough. I mean, there's only one down in Salisbury at Stonehenge. So they're beginning to think it's actually been some sort of, I don't know, religious site where they would come over every year from the mainland. They would need to. And they'd need to come over in force to be able to move these stones about. I'm going to get in touch with Dr. Gates. I think he's got an email address at University of St Andrews, and they're going to be busy because all the examinations from all the students, any age group, right up to going for their final exams for their doctorates or whatever, have been cancelled. The only ones that they passed through without setting an exam are those that were studying to be doctors. They're calling them junior doctors, and they'll put them right into the front line.
And nurses too, yeah.
Nurses too. So there's, I'll get into it. He's probably going to be busy, but if he gets back to me sometime, I'd just like to know, have they uncovered any evidence of early settlements, permanent settlements on the island? Because you'd need to have people here all the time. But as you pointed out before, they don't even know who it was who built them. It wasn't the Celts. They were there long, long before the Celts. They called them the Beaker people. And there's up in Skara Brae, which is up in the Orkneys, as I recall, found it's an entire abandoned village. The houses are still there, and they found artefacts, and they call them the beaker people because they found an awful lot of these clay beakers in amongst the debris. And checking the soil, they found what appears to be volcanic ash. Now, just to the northwest is Iceland. And they think what happened was there's a major eruption. All of this come down, and they abandoned the village and either moved down the island chain from the Orkneys down to the Shetlands, and then down onto Lewis and Harris. So it's I'm intrigued by that because it's as I say, the Stonehenge itself is much younger than the stones at Carlinish, and it was added to over the centuries by at least 3 different tribes of people, adding bits onto it. So what they're going to do is make a virtual reconstruction of it to what it probably looked like right from the very start. So I'll be waiting to see when that comes out. So that's what I've been looking at the minute, just to avoid the cabin fever. That, and I'm finished building a battleship, model battleship as well, and I'm sorry I ever started on the damn thing. The instructions are in Russian. So I sent it to Amy to build it for me.
Help me out. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But those are amazing. And I know a lot of the locals are the ones that excavated a lot of these circles. Do they think they've excavated everything, or have they used ground penetrating radar to see if there's any other columns on the outwards? Or
that's they would have been carrying on. The site would close for the winter, and I checked, and it's still closed at the moment because of this coronavirus. And they're hoping to reopen sometime in June. But again, it's like everything else, it's the funding to carry out the excavation, and hiring this ground penetrating radar is expensive. So I hope they would carry on anyway, because as he said, there's at least certainly another 5. I mean, there's a single stone. I'll post it on Paradox, our website. I'll post the picture of this single standing stone with a man standing beside it. And I think it's about, what's above ground is 20 feet. And they reckon it must weigh about between 50 and 60 tons. And it's the centre stone of another stone circle. Since it's pretty close to the shore, might very well have lost a lot under there due to coastal erosion. So there's that, but no, I think they will do. They'll carry on with that, and they'll want to make a virtual map so we can go in and zoom through it on YouTube. So that's basically the mischief I've been up to. Other than that,
sounds like a vortex to me.
Well, it was. Could be anything.
Like a recharging station to me. If there's multiple of them.
Yeah, it makes me think that was in one of the major times where there was alien and UFO sightings, alien communication, so on and so forth. I feel like they built these different structures to try to draw them back, like you said, Robert, like an energy port or whatnot, and to draw them back to communicate and try to learn more. A lot of our civilizations back in the day were actually very educated, and we've lost our education so many times and been taken back to the beginning, and this might be another one of those. But I think so long as we persevere and keep on going, we'll be fine. But it's so interesting, Jim. I had never heard of those. I've heard of Stonehenge, but until you had mentioned it, I'd never heard of those in Scotland. It's pretty amazing.
It's another thing I would like to find out is why did they build? They've got that one, then they built another one. Which one did they use all the time? Did they abandon the one with the anomaly under it? Build this other one, or which one did they build first? Because it seems kind of strange to build two so close together. Why? So there's a lot of activity went on there as a portal.
Have you looked at as far as the structures and ley lines and such?
You see, with the ley lines, it's difficult because not everybody believes that ley lines exist. Mm-hmm. You try to link it to some men are standing stones over in Aberdeenshire. But how could they tell, today these ley line walkers, how could they do that when you got to cross 50 miles of North Atlantic Ocean? Did they get a submersible and go out with the divining rods and a diving suit? So how can you link it? It's like join the dots. A lot of these stone markers that they were on the Scottish Highlands and Islands are actually boundary markers. This is my clan's side and that's your clan's side. You stay there and you stay here. So if you start joining them up, you get something that looks like an exotic spider's web.
Right.
If it was lately, that doesn't make sense.
It's like a big old net, basically.
It's what?
Like a big net that goes all around the world. And so many different, very important sites are on the ley lines. It's pretty interesting, and a lot of activity around them as well.
Well, in this instance, it attracted a lot of attention, as I said, particularly amongst in Russia. I don't know so much about them. I know Romania has stone circles. Whether there's any in Russia or not, I don't know. But certainly the fact that they were there, they built that, and for some reason they stopped using the original one and built this other, the one that we've got today. It's above ground. I'd like to see them get in there with mechanical diggers and go around. What's underneath here?
Yes, like in Peru, they have a crop circle type situation there, which they say that perhaps because the electromagnetic energy is so high there, that there could be particles buried underneath the ground, but they won't allow excavation there. It could be something similar to that. It's like something that's buried there as well.
Yeah. Well, you can see why. You can see why that. The Great Pyramid was never a tomb. It's more as if it had been used as a storehouse for storing things in, whether books or whatever. And we know that they had early aircraft there. We know about the Vimanas. And the U.S. Army, maybe 10 years ago or more, the U.S. Army took a small robot, put it down one of these air shafts, and when it got to the end, there was another huge chamber, and inside it, they said it was metallic humanoid figures standing up against a wall, like suits of armour. And you know the story about Plato and Atlantis and whatnot. It might very well have been a storehouse from stuff from Atlantis or whatever when they abandoned their...
That's so strange. Right when you started talking, I'm not trying to interrupt, but right when you started talking, I for some reason heard very clearly Atlantis. I'm like, well, we don't know where Atlantis is, right? And I don't know, why am I hearing Atlantis? So, message, I don't know. So weird.
Yeah, well, they think it was off the Azores. In the 1960s, there was a British V-bomber returning from operations exercise in the United States. And the aircrew, it's one of those days when the sunbeams come straight down and you can see actually the bottom of the Atlantic floor 3 miles down. And they clearly saw the outlines of what they described an ancient Greek city 3 miles down, and that was in 1960. I can never find the information again on the internet. So they think that
they won't allow divers there, is what I read. That they won't allow in a certain area where they believe that it is off of the coast of, I think it's Greece or somewhere. They won't allow people to dive and look for it in certain areas, which is probably why.
Well, they stopped the divers at Dwarka, the sunken city of Dwarka in India, when they found out that it was actually twice the age of Babylon. And what do you call them? Sumerians. The city, they proved, marine geologists and archaeologists proved that Dwarka was 10,000 years old. And that's twice the age of Sumeria. So if there's a global catastrophe, that would explain why it was under the water. But I mean, the fishermen had been telling people for centuries there's a sunken city out there, and they verified it. Then the Egyptian government stopped all research and wouldn't allow anybody to dive on it. And of course, there's quite a bit of hullabaloo. They said that we haven't got the funding and blah, blah, blah. And other universities and whatnot said, well, we'll fund you, we'll get in there and see what's happened. But it's the same story. They only allow you there under certain conditions. And if it isn't going to fit in with accepted science, they'll just stop it altogether. That's what they usually do anyway. Anything that contradicts accepted science.
Well, and it goes against the laws of the sea as well. Anything you find out at sea is your property if it's unmanned. The city is unmanned. How are they able to claim this property, even though they're saying it's not Atlantis, nobody knows where it's at? How are they able to do that?
Yeah. You can get away with it. When you've got all the money and all the guns, you can get away with anything. Most of the time.
It's like with Plato, like he was not known for telling like story tales, you know, and when he wrote about Atlantis, I mean, it was elaborate, and you know, that's why people believe that it existed, because most of what he said was documented. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, to think of that, the Minoan civilization perished when some huge volcano erupted. But there again, you're left with conjecture, reasonable conjecture. It's certainly that we know that there's been ancient civilizations before ours, but it's trying to link them and trying to get substantive evidence. But Darwinian science, if it doesn't fit in with accepted science, they just don't. That's it. You won't hear any more about it. They've been doing that for decades, if not centuries. Somebody described Darwin and his theory as a fairy story for adults. You know, so the human race has been on the earth far, far longer than we can imagine.
Yeah, they've been lying to us forever, but like even looking at mythology and all the different things that are there, giants, so on and so forth, even in biblical times, they're saying they don't exist, but then there's so many times that remnants have been found. Where exactly did they go? Like, where do the UFOs go? Where does everything else go? Like the government or the Vatican or whatnot gobbles it up and hoards it away and doesn't want anybody else to know about it. And they call it mythology, but I believe a lot of it is true. They're even saying we've only been around as humans for so many years, but then you find different things like millions of years ago that date back to humans and the different evolutionary steps. One point being, in fact, a pickaxe in the rocks dated back over 1 million years ago.
Yeah. And in Russia, in a coal mine, they found, which is quite clearly, you can see them, they're cogwheels embedded in a big lump of coal. And the Carboniferous was, 200 million years ago or more. May have been more than that. So that's, there's so much, the dicuss, I think I pronounced that right. You remember that mechanical device they found on the Greek ship, a sunken Greek ship? And when they took it out and rebuilt a model of it, it was a navigational device with all the little cogwheels and such in it. And that took skill to make that. So, yeah, we shall see how it pans out. For the moment, everybody's knowing that there's something on its way. Exactly what it is, we'll have to find out. If it's I just hope it isn't a massive solar flare.
I think I have a picture of that here in R.L. Poole's book, The Lead Skalnin Codex. I think there's a picture of that with all the cogs and wheels and such that shouldn't exist at that time, but it did, and it was so advanced for that era. If I find it, I can put it up in front of the camera, but yeah, it was insane. And it was, covered with different debris and such. There it is. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's like the very first computer that we know of. And it says it's the Antikythera device. First computer that was found by sponge divers. So perhaps where this was found is where Atlantis could be. Or it could be somewhere else.
Well, they built an exact replica of that. I don't know whether they used sound or X-rays, but they built an exact replica of that, and you can see just how complicated it is. And it would be so precise when you're cutting teeth for cogwheels, and you try making them. Even you get a bit around, you can try cutting teeth in. It's not easy to do, but they're doing that with metal. So it's they're far more advanced than they call it. What was it they call it? The failed industrial revolution.
Yes.
All the things. You had Hero's turbine, the steam turbine. Did you see that at school? A little cylinder and two jets coming out, one at each side. Put it on there, it boils, and it whizzes round. Steam turns it. They call it Hero's turbine. So they call it the failed industrial revolution. But then, like the Romans, they had plenty of slaves, so they really didn't need to rely too much on machinery to do it for them. Mr. Gates has his way, we'll all be slaves anyway, so...
Right.
Now, like the crystal skulls found all over the world, that supposedly were like little computers. I don't know. I watched this deal that, I don't know, like how were they found in all different parts of the world over different periods of time?
I think there's still one missing, isn't there?
At least one. Yes, at least one. I'm not sure. It's been so long since I looked that up. But just it doesn't make sense. There's so many things that do not make sense. Like, what if we got this technology somewhere else and whoever got the technology first created their own organization of elites, right? And they're like, okay, this is our property. We're going to know this knowledge, so we cannot let the public, know of this knowledge that was passed down from basically space or wherever, higher technology. And they've kept it a secret. That's kind of a known deal. Like, it's been a secret.
We're just little children in the government's eyes. They keep so much stuff from us, and I've always wondered why. And then I see what's been going on with this pandemic, and everybody's buying toilet paper to build their toilet paper forts. I don't know why there's so many people buying all the toilet paper. I actually got a big set of toilet paper today. I was very happy. Instead of just the 6-pack, I got a big pack. I was like, woo! But then you look and all the frozen potatoes are gone. So, when something else comes back, something else is gone. It's just weird how it's all worked out. But I'm trying to stock up every step of the way and get going with that. But yeah, with these different Stonehenges and different things going on and different technologies in the past, we've hit reset so many times. Is it us, like, over technologizing and, blowing ourselves up or whatnot? Or is it somebody else coming in and stopping us and making us go back to reset? Some of the knowledge gets through, like in scriptures, or like you said, the crystal skulls or different other things like that. Is this another reset for us?
Yeah, I think Dave's nodding off. He's thinking.
Well, yeah, he's got till next break before I think it's his turn, because Robert goes next. At least he's on mute and not snoring in the mic.
That we know of.
It's 5.
Well, yeah, he's muted, so it could be a surprise. So, Jim, did you have anything else to add to your point?
No, it's we'll let Robert kick it in there. see what's happened down in Queensland.
Queensland, Australia. Or is it Brisbane? We'll never know.
Well, they tend to think of themselves as Queensland's superior hub type of thing. So,
of course they do.
Everything happens in Brisbane and nothing comes out this way.
So how's things been in your neck of the woods? Have you had massive UFO sightings? Or, is the coronavirus going well as far as people staying home and doing what they should? Like, what's the haps?
Well, last I heard, there's still only 1,012 people with the virus in the entirety of Queensland. And that's about, I think, New South Wales below us has about 2,500 last I heard. So we're doing well because we're a larger landmass than New South Wales, where Andy comes from. I haven't heard anything recently about UFOs visiting here. I missed seeing the Lyrid meteor showers too, so didn't get any photos of those.
Was it cloudy?
Yeah, it was on those nights. Isn't that always the way? When there's something to watch, it always gets overcast.
Yeah, that's how I got some of my UFO pictures, though. I was taking pictures of the moon behind the clouds because of the color it was putting off.
Yeah.
And then I zoomed in to, do the whole photography thing and, check out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, different speeds and such. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I showed the kids, and there's little shuttlecraft all over the place. I never saw them with my naked eye. But after I got them in the pictures, I could see the little specks that, to me, would look like clouds, but they're actually craft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, with being in lockdown, we can't really go anywhere either, so I can't go out and take photos in the complete dark, because there are some areas that I know of that I could go to if it wasn't a threat to be out not doing purposeful things like take photographs. That's not considered an essential thing to do. So if I went out that, if I caught by the police would charge me, I think it's $1,335 for non-important stuff.
Do you guys have a MUFON there?
I don't think we do.
Really? Maybe you should start one. Because if you had a MUFON thing, you would be essential because you're taking pictures of the sky or whatnot and taking care of important things, because you do have that awesome camera that picks that stuff up.
Yeah. A long lens.
Yeah, and this was in my backyard that I got these pictures, so I mean, just from your backyard. And it's not like perfectly dark, but for me, it's probably more dark than for you.
Well, the backyard tends to be pretty dark out there. The house provides a natural barrier for the street light that's out in the corner. Like if I go out the front there's a street light that's shining light all over the place, and another one down the street, another one down the street that way, and yeah, it can be a real pain in the butt.
So how's the COVID been going? Everybody suiting up, or are people still rebelling, or how's that going?
Well, some people are still getting into other people's space, and I had to do that while shopping the other day, and I apparently got too close to this older lady. She was using one of those walker things, and I held my breath, went up to the shelf, grabbed the thing I was after, and she turned me around and said, "Don't you know the rules?" I know the rules. I've got an 81-year-old mother here I'm looking after. I held my breath. And I don't have it.
I held my breath the whole time. Now I've stepped away to talk to you, but yeah. I'm still traumatized from the old lady that encroached on my space. She's like this on me, and like, ah! And I moved.
Like was sitting down the escalator behind me. I could feel him before I turned around. Like, it was like, I turned around and here's his gut, right there. I moved forward, I would have hit into him. So I'm definitely next time I go out to the shops, I'm going to take one of the lightsabers with me and do some social distancing with that.
Right? Here's the distance.
Great idea.
You're too close.
Yeah.
You back.
Wow. Wow.
Oh.
Used to be a big UFO research group. I think they were in Adelaide, Robert, at the time.
Yeah.
I'll need to dig it. I've got a book at hand. They're probably all defunct now, long ago. I used to have a couple of girls that come on there.
Yeah.
That was on the days of the old Microsoft chat rooms, you know.
Yeah.
Never seen that yet. But it was quite a big organisation.
That's down in Adelaide. I wonder if we have any in Queensland, though.
Yeah.
There probably would be. I know of a group up in Townsville that do the ghost type of, but they're a paranormal lot, but I'm not too sure if they focus mainly on ghosts or if they're everything. So I might have to get in contact with them, see what they do.
Well, this group carried out an investigation on one of the ranchers called in and said, you better come and see this.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't crop circles as we know them.
Yeah.
It was lines of circles. No, right across his whole crop, his whole field, as if something come down and was hopping, you know, and then going all over the place. And they carried out an investigation into that, but we never heard anything more what it was that they found, whether it was a hoax or whether he was doing it to try and get publicity or what. But I know that they did carry that out because there were photographs taken, and of course with the old Windows 98 crashing every 5 seconds, you know, I lost all the photographs.
Jeez.
But,
It's circles, but not as we know it.
yeah. It's, I'll go and see this. I'll track the book out wherever it is, Robert. And what we'll do is I'll post the links on the Paradox Media.
Well, Jim, and Robert, do you guys have the Men in Black over there as well, or stories of them?
Not as many as what I've heard from over that way.
But
No,
some?
Some, yeah.
Well, it would suit the CIA if it was for the purpose of keeping people's mouths shut. But the Men in Black was invented by a notorious hoaxer called Gray Barker. He was and I wonder, you know, he's a UFO hoaxer and so on, and he admitted it. But I think he's actually working for the American government, for the CIA.
Well, and a lot of times they'll say somebody's a hoaxer just to take away their credibility. Or they'll say it's somebody else doing it when it's really indeed somebody else doing it. Like, I saw several videos where they're really tall guys. They look like twins, basically, in black suits. They're expressionless, but they're very serious, and people generally kind of get hypnotized when they talk to them, and then they'll leave, and they'll never be heard from again, or they'll end up somewhere and not remember anything. It's pretty interesting. But they always try to downplay things and say, well, this isn't true. It's really this guy who's a big hoaxer doing it. How do we know that?
Yeah.
Well, you don't. You got to go on what you feel, basically.
The UFO Research, Far North Queensland, P.O. Box 1583. But this book's from 1983, Robert. These organisations might well have gone to the wall, but there was at least more than a dozen were there once upon a time. And that group that I mentioned initially, they were in Adelaide, the Australian International UFO Flying Saucer Research. But they're probably all gone now, but there was a whole sequence of films that they took. But when you think about it, when everybody was going to Area 51, the US Air Force had to decamp somewhere, and I think they went out to that was at Alice Springs, somewhere out in the outback anywhere, nobody in their right mind would go, you know. So, and that's where they started carrying out tests of whatever advanced aircraft that they had. So it might have been an early form of drone that the Australian Air Force had been trying out, because it just dried up immediately. There was nothing more heard from them. And
well, then Pine Gap appeared in the Northern Territory as well, so perfect place for that sort of thing. If they're monitoring all communications, if people are making phone calls or radio calls about certain things they see at night or flying in the sky. What's a better place to have than somewhere right there in the Northern Territory where the testing's happening to stop it?
Yeah, because it's that boy Valentic. Remember, his plane disappeared, and I was saying it was this, that, and the next thing, and no, nothing happened yet. Yeah, there was somebody took a photograph of something coming out of the sea, not too far away from where this incident took place. So they said he wasn't a skilled pilot, and he was only 16 or something, or 17 or something like that. He wouldn't have been allowed in the air if he wasn't a skilled pilot. He suffered from vertigo. What do they call it? The other good thing is spatial disorientation. You know, that he didn't know where he was actually flying and where he was going and this nonsense. But there's an awful lot went off in Australia. And, you know, the lid's on it, and I don't think they're ever going to lift that off, especially at Pine Gap. There was another place in Utah called the Dugway Proving Ground, where the U.S. Army used to, they dumped anthrax on it and all sorts of bioweapons. There's signs there they tell you that you're entering a possibly lethal area. And if you wanted to hide some sort of secret aircraft, that's the best place to sort of hide it, because you need to be a raving lunatic. They wouldn't store them Area 51. Let's store them Dugway Proving Ground. I don't think there'd be too many would turn up for that one. Excuse me.
Well, maybe
Jinx,
if they have their injections of cleansers or whatever, they might be able to survive it.
Right?
Yeah.
Get your Lysol. We're selling it right now for $15 an ounce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot and ready to go.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So I put 2 pictures onto the thingy doodle on Skype. You can look at them later if you like, about the stones. A single standing stone about 6 miles away, and the one with the lightning strike. I'd like to see that bigger, try to enlarge that, because you can see there's more happening out of picture. I just wonder if they got something better than that. But you can look at them later if you like.
I looked in the message thing, I couldn't find them.
If the stones can withstand a lightning strike and capture that energy, that'd be a perfect place to have it go down and be dispersed, like you said, there's a star pattern underneath, different areas that people might need it. Well, not people, but the things that might have built it.
It's every time I get hit with a lightning strike, there's umpteen trillion, squillion volts going in there. If there's some sort of reactor under there or battery, it's well charged up. But the thing is, I've only had 2 reports of UFOs, big orange fireballs. I've been up here 18 years. One was a nurse coming back. A fella used to stay at the top end of the island. They moved back down south. His wife has come back from the hospital, and you got to cross over Barvis Moor. You come up out Stornoway, up onto a plateau, and there's nothing for 12 miles. And it's at night, she's making her way back, and she saw these 3 large orange balls come up from the moor, right up and gone into the sky. And my good mate next door, Bill was an investigator for a UFO group down in Lancashire, down in Liverpool. And the dog wanted out at 3 o'clock in the morning, so Bill goes out there in high dudgeon, as you can imagine, and he looks over and he sees, maybe about 12 miles away, 3 large orange balls hovering in the air. And we checked it out, there's no pylons there, there's no ships there, and of course we've been watching for them ever since, and no sign of them. But there's a lot more going on than we'll ever know, I think. Anyway, Tess, I think Robert's gone to the head.
No worries. And you're talking about these balls. I've seen alien orbs. I was followed for 15 miles by one, and then I saw one in my backyard about 20 feet away from my door, And of course, the one following me looked smaller because it was higher up in the air. This one was about 3 or 4 feet off the air and looked about 3 or 4 feet in circumference. Looked like liquid fire flowing through it. It was red, orange, and yellow, and it was going in a clockwise fashion. But they've been seen so many times by so many people, and they're different colors. I even have a picture where there's red, white, green, and orange. Foo Fighters, like, what exactly are these? Are they collecting information or, spyware? I don't know. I almost went out to check it out. I stepped 1 foot out, and then I stepped right back in and closed the door and just called everybody over because I didn't know what it would do to me.
Yeah, well, that was wise, because if it was, some say they're only forms of ball lightning, but ball lightning only exists for a very short period of time before it dissipates.
Yeah, and I've seen that. It doesn't have clean edges. It looks like a fiery ball.
Yeah. So it's they're definitely not ball lightning, whatever they are. And it's when you listen to some of the people who's experienced this, and the genuine researchers that went into this, an awful lot of bogus charlatans out there, as you know. It's they behave more like animals. That's what somebody said. They say they're under intelligent control, or they're intelligent. Either they're under intelligent control, or these things are self-intelligent. And it was 1952. The principal photographer of the U.S. Navy was on vacation with his wife and 2 kids, and they're driving through the town. They passed through the town of Tremonton, Utah, and his wife draws his attention to these weird objects in the sky, and he got out a cine camera film, his cine camera, and eventually managed to record them. You'll see it actually on YouTube, and it's obvious when you look at this, they're not birds. A bird can't loop the loop, can't fly on its back, and you see these things looping the loop. And he of course, he submitted the film when he got back, and 18 months or 2 years later, they returned the film to him. But it was a large sequence of the film was actually missing. And this depicted these things all swarming about, and a much larger object moving back and forth underneath him. He described it like a sheepdog. As I say, you can hear his interview. I think he's talking to Captain Ed Ruppelt, who at that time was in charge of Project Blue Book. And it's on YouTube. If you type in Tremonton UFO, Utah, 1952, it'll bring up, you hear the man's first-hand account. But the interesting thing was it was his wife that drew his attention to him, because he's driving and he's watching the road. So he always regretted that he didn't have the camera set up and loaded and ready to go, because he had to get out into the trunk, take the camera out, wind it up, load the film in, and they said by that time the objects had passed right over the top of the car, and he always regretted those lost seconds. So it's could they be animals? I don't know. No, absolutely no idea, but they're definitely not birds. And when the Air Force tried to describe them away as birds, that was the reason why Dr. J. Allen Hynek, he was far from happy with that explanation. He says that we were told to have to give an explanation, therefore they must be birds. And, you could see when he looked in his face, it was absolute nonsense. Anyways, Mia still there. As Dave woke up.
Sleepy Dave looks really sleepy right now. And it's actually Sleepy Dave's turn. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. You want some coffee?
Yeah, right. Good.
Let's have some coffee and a talk.
Yeah.
You look very relaxed and comfortable.
Oh yeah. I had to like stretch out, My sleep schedule's been all screwed up ever since this full of. That's what I want to know. Is anybody's sleep schedule has been totally off the charts and backwards, frontwards, whatever?
Yeah, mine's it.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, mine's it. Totally. end up going for a snooze at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're that tired, you can't keep your eyes open. You know, that's what we be. There are all sorts of things that want to do and work to be done. But the brain says, go and lie down, and then you wake up 4 hours later, and then you go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning again, wide awake. Yep, mine's is definitely messed up.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's like... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it was at first where I'd wake up and not be able to go back to sleep. Then I kind of went back to my teenage years where I could just sleep all day if I wanted to. And now I'm back to if somebody wakes me up or one of the animals or whatever, I'm up and I can't go back to sleep. No matter how hard I try, it's ridiculous.
I'm nocturnal, but I was like waking up really, really early for like a few weeks, like really early, like watching the sun come up, like when it was still dark early. And then I went back to my insomnia, but I'm still kind of like I'll wake up early and can't fall asleep. I mean, my sleep is just so out of whack. My dreams, though, have been playing a big role. Everyone I know, you see, yeah, like they have
they been like really realistic and dealing with things you're dealing with? Yeah.
Vivid.
So I'll get up the next day and expect to find something that was there in my dream and it's not there, and I'm like, oh my god, that was my dream, but it's like very vivid, like it's really happened.
A lot of that is astrally. When you're dreaming things like and being around people that you are around in your real life, that usually means that you're astral and you're just literally like doing things on a different plane, like out of your body, like going through your normal routine. But sometimes like last night I have dreams with around the people that I see all the time, which typically my dreams are way outlandish, and they've just been a lot of more I don't know, just intense in all ways, but like realistic.
Yeah, very realistic, like everyday life. I'd rather be flying or underwater or something. Come on.
I love underwater dreams and flying dreams. I haven't had them in a long time, but there's a lot of intense energies going on right now. So I feel like we're working in our dreams a lot, or we're doing things that we can't do right now. So we're trying to take care of them in our dreams, and just, it's annoying. At least all the crazy, like, apocalyptic stuff stopped for me, because that was for like 2 weeks, apocalyptic dreams. Fear dreams.
It's insane.
Huh?
Sleepy.
Very creepy.
Sleeping.
Say that again? I had my volume down.
You sleeping?
No. No, I've been listening the whole time. No.
He's just
I don't have
chillaxing.
any of that. Yeah. Hanging out. Like I said, sleep schedule's all screwed up.
Is Mel's messed up too, or is everything going okay for her? Or I don't know. For my kids, it's been weird as well.
Hers is screwed up too, but it's getting more back on track now. Like last night, the night more because she's tired and I'm tired, and so that's just getting. Hopefully, it should get better.
Yeah, this afternoon around 2, I was like, is it time to go to bed yet?
Then again, I'm thinking tomorrow's Sunday and there's nothing to do. But, it's like one big, long day. I don't know. I can see why people are going crazy. But, you got to be careful. Wear your mask, take precautions, if you're going to go out and, keep away from people. Because you never know. You just at this point in the game, what's out there, who knows? People are getting sick, whatever. It's not good.
Yeah, you said Mel had drawn cat faces on your masks. That's pretty cute. I saw a lot of masks drawn on today, and I told Vern they were doing that so they could get high on the marker fumes. But no. They weren't like the ones you guys have. They were the thinner ones. And they had some cool messages, or one lady drew lips on hers, and it was interesting. It was the most masks I had seen in a while, but I hadn't been out in like a week, so we're making advancements. But there's still people out there without them. Today I was without because I couldn't find mine. It disappeared. Huh?
Wait till Halloween comes along. People are going to be doing all sorts of Halloween masks. You wait and see. Some, they're probably already manufacturing them now. Oh, your face mask for Halloween. Jack-o'-lanterns, werewolf teeth, whatever.
Sock monkey.
Yeah.
So I got my fiance for Halloween last year. We were going to go do our annual Halloween bash, and I didn't know what to get him as a costume. And he's a man, and he's not one of those types of men that likes to like dress up and stuff. He's like farmer boy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get him. I picked a costume for him, and when I was picking the costume, I got the weirdest, creepiest feeling. And what I got him was a plague mask and a robe.
Ooh.
And right, and I just remember this specific moment where I was like, this is creeping me out in a way. I don't know if it's like a past energy way, but this is just in like around this last Halloween. I don't know, just weird things like that for the past few months. It's intense,
like some precognition going on.
Yes, well that's something that I would never pick. I mean, that's not something that I ever even think of.
You're like, oh, this looks fun.
Yeah. No, in fact, they've always creeped me out. So I don't know what even prompted me, like, to look up a plague doctor mask.
I wanted to get one of those masks that was like the crow face one.
Yeah, that's the plague doctor. That's a plague doctor mask. That's what I got him. That's exactly what I got him. That's what the plague doctors were. That's exactly it. And I've never... I don't know, but there was just this one moment where I was looking at it, and then I started kind of researching it too, like the plague doctors and why they did it, and and apparently the masks didn't even really work, but it was just intense. Like little did I know, but at least we have a plague doctor mask, so we're like a real mask underneath it, and it's totally socially acceptable now.
Now I want to wear that with a like sort of robe thing going on in a GoPro or something and walk through different places and see the reaction.
I have one. I'm coming back to Colorado in like a couple weeks, so I'll bring it to you because he never wore it, so he never ended up going. So
let's do it.
Could you imagine to New Orleans with that on?
Ooh. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that brave, but in Durango I am. But over there, no. Not gonna do it. My life depends on it, and I don't think I'd live through that. Oh no.
I've been drawn there. I haven't been, but I've been drawn there for the past 2 years, so I know I'm going to end up there at some point. I don't know why, because it's always scared me, but I, really for more one of my very psychic friends has told me about her experiences in New Orleans. So of course now I'm going to go there and put myself in probably a very, very scary situation. But, when you do that and you put yourself in those dangerous, like psychic places, then you get stronger after doing it. So I guess it'll be a learning experience. A field trip.
It's fun. Yeah, when we were leaving, the day we were leaving, I wanted to go to the cemeteries, and Kathy was really sick. She ended up having a urinary tract infection, like severe kidney infection and stuff, and she wasn't feeling good. And she's like, well, you can go if you want. And I'm like, sister, I ain't going in there by myself. I was born at night, but not last night. But yeah, no way was I going by myself into these different cemeteries. So many people are out there waiting for people to go through by themselves and to rob them and whatever else. Yeah, homie, don't play that. And it ended up raining really hard, so I'm glad I decided not to.
You probably would have been saved by the rain before anyway. Like the rain would come down right when you're going, and then you're like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't go, it's pouring. And then it probably saved you. Some type of something attaching to you is usually the worst. I don't usually have problems in cemeteries, but afterwards sometimes I have issues.
Yeah. I've had some crazy past cemetery happenings, but we have to go to our second musical break, and on this break we have Hosni Bronx, who is from Jamaica as well as the Bronx of New York, with Strong Life. And then we have King Cinnamon with A Alemo and Rosie. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
We swap on the beat.
Kanyi kele Chineke makwa na limo mbunde njem ọnụ. Kanyi kele onye nwụwa ịmakwa na limo mbunde njem ọnụ. Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Kerelo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, making head down. Ebere Marama, Ovana Marama, Yes Lady Marama, Her Excellency, Emeka your hammer, Emeka your hammer, Omenka Unanya need your hammer, Omenka Unanya wa, Emeka, make him Modima, Emeka, make him Modima, Emeka put on no boy, oh yeah, Umu Emeka put on no boy, welcome Adima, Umu me one bottle, Emeka, make him Modima, Emeka, make him Modima, Ndem Jembo, Mwan Jembo, Ndem Jemano, Deputy Governor State Chilike, Gerard Ronna Karaka, Wokoma Dima, Porabo, Deputy Governor Willie Deregima, Alukuta Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemano. Stanley Wamuche Karaka, Stanley Amuche Babamba, President Good Life Foundation, Shirike, President General, Senate Group of Companies, President General, Financial Mata Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemano, Franklin Neji Shirike, Pepe Arabido Hotels, ABC Transport Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Uchonyago Chande, Honorable Mokoma Dima, Onye Horo Nyageleni Yao, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Njigari Chinala, Imo State, yo, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Minigari Zonala, Imo State, yo, Alo Were Diregima, Alo Were Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, the German, Orange Drugs Limited, Jisa Anthony Ifani Chubundu Business and Ishirike, Ikenga Dichele, pride of his people, most outstanding one, Okoma Marama, Iborabo, Alo Were Diregima, Alijato Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Honorable Jobagu Shirike, Honorable Bina Shirike, Jere Labosa Shirike, Kochukwo Kereke Shirike, Okahube Shirike, Injina Benin Shirike, Onyamana Construction, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Onya Shiwore Heborani, Dejemu Imarama, Wokoma Jembo, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Wiz Popule, Ibo Felamo, Onyamana Pito, Akana Kumpa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Ludiriwa, Jejemba, CEO Elizabeth Ventures, Karaka, Democracy, Merielo, Ndime Merielo. Democracy, Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alime Derelo, Alime Derelo. Thank God I'm from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, make you jubilate, make you celebrate. Emeka shikwen be say, this one no be say them say. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, celebrate, make you jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa. Mekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Hakim. Yemaka Right Honorable BDK. Nekelekwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Nekelekwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziena alimo. Alima Adilama.
Cliffito.
Babylon make you suffer. Babylon make you suffer. Babylon make you suffer. What is desire? Young life. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know how to fight. 'Cause my people suffer. What do you want, Babylon? I don't understand why this world is so strange, strange with my people. I don't know how to fight, but if we are together, it will work. It will work. Babylon no have no heart. 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 My people, you have to survive. Yeah, you must rebuild you and make your own way. You must not give up. The beginning of the revolt will start. We need to follow our true destiny. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. The obstacle we face, yeah, is Babylon. The world is a good place. Babylon make you suffer. Babylon make you suffer. Babylon make you suffer. What you desire, strong life. We are ready to fight.
We swap on speed.
She like my water bam bam. King cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Gucci brother, baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you wind your broncotum. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you wind your broncotum. Jamaica, Ghana, shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Please me, baby. Yeah. Turn up from you. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Give me love. Me want you, me love you. Give me love. Oh, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Oh. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we are doing the Paradox Paranormal Forum, and we are joined by Miss Mea Savage from Phoenix, Arizona. We had Sleepy Dave on, but he had to bow out and go spend time with family, which is very important now. But I'm grateful that he was here tonight. We have Mr. Jim Morris from the Western Isles of Scotland, and then we also have Mr. Robert White from Queensland, Australia. Welcome back, guys, and thanks so much for being on the forum tonight.
Oh, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah. Just having a quick look at the news to see if war has been declared. 1/3 of Americans believe COVID-19 vaccine exists, hidden by the government. A survey was carried out. New survey conducted by Democracy Fund, the UCLA Nationscape Project from USA Today revealed almost 1/3 of US citizens polled believe that the administration of US President Donald Trump has a vaccine against the COVID-19 infection is being withheld from the public, and it goes on a similar vein. This is always going to go about. Somebody remarked that you never see President Trump wearing a face mask or anybody else around about him wearing a face mask and so on. He's getting a lot of stick, and I don't think really he deserves an awful lot of what he's been getting. You appoint people as an advisor, and you're taking their advice, and the advice they're giving you is a load of nonsense. You've got to take these are the experts, and this is what they're saying. But I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's nothing would surprise me about what's going on. If you look at past events in world history, whenever you had a pestilence, you've got war. I mean, war's been going on all over the place. They're still fighting wars that we don't know about, or the media's keeping it from you. So you've got war, then you have a pestilence like we've got now. But right after that, there's always a famine. Now you think, but we're losing crops right, left and centre here in the UK because they can't bring people in from Europe to pick the fruit as they usually do, and berries and whatnot. They come in from Romania and Poland every year. And they're not coming now, and the farmers are complaining, we've got crops here that we're not going to be able to sell because we can't transport them anywhere. And the government's saying, we'll give you so much money. This money is coming off a printing press, I think. There's nothing to back it up. And they're losing crops right, left and centre. So it's going to be hard. I'm not going to say there's going to be a famine. But even stores here, if you go into the supermarkets, they'll only allow you to take, say you wanted a tub of butter, you can only take one. You can't take two. You're restricted to taking a single item at each. And one of the supermarkets, you're restricted to taking 30 articles. That's all. In fact, one woman reported that she went into the other supermarket.
I kind of think that we need that here in some cases. Now it's like per store. Stores are, as their own businesses, limiting things. Yes, but the toilet paper thieves, what they should have, once they started selling out in the first place, they should have made it so you can only buy so many of an item, because now we're running out of everything because they're not limiting any of the items. I almost wish there was a little bit more of a regulation here, like two of each item or 3 of each item, no matter what it is, almost, just temporarily. Not to that extreme, not 30 items total. I think that's a little extreme if you have a large family, but I don't know.
Well, for us, we tried to buy whole milk and 2%, and this was at the very beginning, and they're like, you can't buy that because that's 2 of one item. And I'm like, no, it's not. When you do inventory and you order stuff, do you order all the same stuff, or do you order vitamin D whole or 2% or 1%? Aren't they on different levels? So the 2% for us is for the adults and older kids, and the whole milk is for the younger ones for their bones. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, they're not doing that here. That's crazy. But I've seen. I don't know. I've been in the house. Who knows?
No, so one woman up at the checkout, she started putting the stuff onto the conveyor belt. And the person at the checkout says, "Do you really need all that food?" You think they were buying it for fun? It's not as if they're hoarding.
All right.
It's getting. As I said, people are getting really edgy on the mainland. With this lockdown carry on, especially when you look at Sweden and everybody is saying, "Well, wait a minute, this is nonsense." And Holland as well, the Netherlands, they're opening up the restaurants and the pubs again. I mean, it's going to come. I can see it happening. It's already started to happen here, and they're talking about increasing fines and everything else. But people's going to end up just going to en masse having mass protests. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to come. They're going to say, "Well, wait a minute. Now you want to extend this lockdown period to the end of the year." And of course, there's conspiracy theorists that need to jump in and that. That's when Bill Gates is, this fantastic this vaccine of his, the one that's got RFID chip in it. That's when it's supposed to be going to be ready. So the longer they extend it, the more people are going to begin to get really agitated, and they're going to say, "Well, let's go and do something about this." Because people, you can't pin people down. Responsible people will say, "Okay," to a point. And then they say, well, wait a minute, this is unnecessary. If they're wiping everything down, how am I going to, and I don't have the virus, if I do not have the virus, how can I transmit it to somebody else? Send it through my fingertips or something? It's really getting pretty silly when you listen to these experts coming on. And it's like being in Nazi Germany back in the 1930s. Don't tell a whole lot of little lies. Just give them one great big lie and keep saying it over and over and over. And people actually say, "Oh, well, it must be true." Apathy.
Right.
Well, by the way that they're getting rid of all the chairs and stuff out of the food courts here, and you're not allowed to sit at the cafe shops anymore, it makes it seem like it's going to come out your butt. Can't do any sunbathing on the beaches either. Because apparently that's where it comes from too.
You can infect the sand.
Exactly.
I read that it actually gets killed in the sun recently too. Like it can only live like a matter of minutes or hours, like in the sun and in direct sunlight, which makes sense because, I mean, if you think about it, everything else, like cold and flu and pneumonia, it doesn't like hot. It doesn't like the summertime. That's why there are summer colds, but quite less frequently than winter. So, but you don't hear much about that, and when you do, it's mainstream media you can't trust.
Yeah, filtering blood through UV rays, and they're burning out the virus, but at the same time, they're burning out other things too that you need, and can you ever get that back? I don't know. It's really crazy.
Yeah. The white blood cells that you need for your immune system. And they're coming up with some really, really scary ideas about this.
I saw this thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mia.
Oh, I was just going to say this meme the other day was really funny. It showed a picture of Hitler, and it said, to all of those, hold on, I'm going to read it. It said, "To all of those that are reporting people out in public and leaving their homes, to those turning in your neighbors and local businesses, you did the right thing. You did the right thing." And it shows a picture of Hitler.
It's not funny. And you can't say you had to be there, because that's not funny either.
No.
But at the same time, there's that humor in there. Yeah, the Reich thing.
I have a dark sense of humor, and if you don't, then you're
That's
not
why
smart.
we're friends.
Yes. Well, it's true. Did you know a dark sense of humor actually is a sign of like intelligence? I read somewhere. I don't know.
And a potty mouth.
Yeah.
That too. And being messy. Not like messy, not like dirty, but like somewhat disorganized.
Well, to me it's organized, but to other people, like, they wouldn't know where things are.
Yeah. It's perfectly, it makes complete sense. Like, for me, for my convenience level and my logic, yes. But visually, not so much.
Okay, so I'm wondering if any of you guys have had some weird upheaval or extra paranormal things going on in your life?
I don't know. It's just this since all this hullabaloo started, I find I tire very quickly, which is something that, even for my age, I was still physically fit. But it's as if something's draining me. I don't know. You don't know. I mean, there's something going on. Where it's in your you're worrying about
universal energy.
Yeah, just feel, the battery gets run down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I follow the old practice. I was told during the winter, from the spring on, start taking your vitamins, especially vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E. Get your immune system built up for the winter that's going to come. And that's basically what I'm doing at the minute. Vitamin E, I take that, and omega oil. Omega oil or whatever it is you pronounce it, that as well.
Yeah,
keep
fish oil.
And since
omega-3.
Since I started taking them, I was always bad with rheumatic because I never learned to drive a car. It was a motorcycle I had. And you're soaked to the skin going to work, and you're soaked to the skin coming back from work, and eventually that seeps in. And I was always bad with rheumatics. Even hit you sometimes during the summer. But since I've been taking the omega-3, there's nothing. There's no twinges in the shoulders or anything like that. So it's they definitely work. But the thing is, you've got to keep taking them. I'm trying to convince a friend of mine. And she said, but I stopped taking them. I says, well, that's why it's come back then. I says, you can't just pick something up and it's going to, you stop your tape recorder or whatever and then go back and hit the play button and it just picks up where it left off. It doesn't work that way. And if you stick to a regime, tell you what, I've cut out red meat, a lot of red meat. I used to eat an awful lot. But I never cook. I never cook in animal fat. I always cook in oil, vegetable oil or olive oil. And what I was experienced was indigestion, which I never suffered from. The family did. It was always in the stomach, indigestion, ulcers and whatnot. But that's only, and I said, that's that red meat that's got in there. And I get one of those George Foreman grills. And you put the burgers on there, and you see the fat that comes boiling out. And I think it was Sandra, it might have been Coral, says, make your own, Jim. Just if you've got the beef, get the mincing machine out, and use bread as a binding element. They use fat to keep it together. Use the bread in there, and you're going to have beautiful burgers, and you won't have all this problem. So that's what I'll be doing for you.
You're making me hungry.
He can't help it.
Oh, a big juicy burger, about 1.5 inches thick, and some lettuce and tomatoes on top.
Make sure you don't smash it, because if you smash it, you ruin all the juiciness.
Red onions. They're good for hunting cancer cells, they tell me. So I've got red onions. I've been taking red onions as well. You can eat them raw. A lot of people do. But,
circulation as well.
Yeah, I like them and make a mix.
And celery is good too.
Yeah, broccoli.
And corn. Why is there always corn?
And vodka. The life-giving propensities of vodka.
They're saying it, having something to drink actually helps to fight it. And at first they were saying smoking, don't do it. And now they're saying it's actually good to burn it out. So I don't know. They say all kinds of things.
Yeah. Probably somebody that manufactures nicotine patches, these will help.
Right.
You go into the pharmacy. Yeah. And have a look at the nicotine patch shelf and there's nothing left, like toilet rolls. Somebody made one of these memes, and it said, follow my daily dietary tips. And it shows you the toilet rolls, These are the meals you can make with toilet rolls. You can't make any, it's crazy. Or instead of going for food, they're going for toilet rolls.
I know, that's
What
what I
was
was
it?
saying. Like, when this first started, like, why is everybody filling carts full of toilet paper? Like, there are some people that said that they got diarrhea with it, but for the most part, that's not a symptom. So, like, are they building forts with it? Or, like, what exactly are they doing with all this toilet paper? Why aren't you buying food?
A lot of people are selling it. I think that's part of it too, especially like the Lysol and the Clorox. Like right when the toilet paper started, all the, all the hustlers, all the little hustlers out there decided to just go loot like hundreds of Lysol wipes and Clorox wipes and everything else and toilet paper, and they're selling it on like OfferUp and eBay for like $50 and stuff. I mean, it's insane. Like, here's 5 rolls of toilet paper for, $35. Like, here you go. Or like,
Yeah, and if
like
you get
stupid
busted
stuff like
doing
that.
that, the fines are horrible. And then not being able to get back into the store whose parking lot you're selling it out of or whatnot, like, hey, I shop here. Yeah, well, you can't anymore because you suck.
They're not getting busted online though. Like that's what they're doing is they're selling it like here. There's not so much out there, but in Arizona, like they're with Craigslist, OfferUp, and I mean OfferUp mainly. I've seen so many people on OfferUp because I went looking for like a motor scooter on there, and all these people selling toilet paper and Lysol wipes, like packs of hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes, and toilet paper, $100. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's like $25 worth of stuff and you're selling it for $100, like, jerks. And they have multiple sets of them too. That's the messed up part. They have like one person will have all these, take pictures of all these different sets with like, some dish soap and some laundry detergent and like a whole bunch of toilet paper and Lysol. I mean, one person has like thousands of dollars worth of that stuff but is making thousands more off of it. It's wrong.
Inflation.
Karmically wrong. Those are the people that are gonna get the freaking coronavirus.
And bad karma.
It is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That was mean, but it's not, because you're stealing from other people and then you're taking advantage of a crisis. Pandemic. Sorry, not a crisis.
So yeah, I'm still waiting for my masks. I got the adults of us, so I got 3 adult masks, different colors, so we don't get them confused. And then I got the kids' masks, and then I got the replaceable filters. So I'm not just going with the cloth stuff. Like, I'm going hardcore because I don't trust anyone or anything. And I won't even trust these, but better than just the one I had before that went missing wherever the crack it went. But as far as the paranormal goes, okay, so the other day Floyd saw a little girl behind me in a white dress, which is pretty common for different entities around here. I was watering my plants, my little buddies, and my watermelons and cantaloupes and pumpkins. And Floyd and Lily were going up the stairs, and I know I said this in break, but I don't think I did on air. He's like, Mom, there's a girl behind you wearing a white dress. And I looked behind me. I didn't see anything, and he's like, she's still there. And we've got stories of this girl way back. We thought it was Lily, but Lily's around now. She just turned 5, so we know it's not her. So who is this little girl with the strawberry red hair, pigtails, and a white dress? And then we've had other things as well, but yeah, that's the major one recently. Mia, I know you're kind of in a washway of spirits over here. How is it in Phoenix?
I am in a new residence and I'm having a lot of things pass through, and I can't tell if nothing's staying long enough for me to actually be around, but I've had something specifically go into my closet. I've seen a figure multiple times. One of those times I was kind of just having like a little bit of a we'll say a angry moment, and it took off. It was afraid of me. But I mean, I see it almost every other day, kind of like moving around in that same area of the house, but it never really confronts me, so it makes me wonder if it's not something connected to the area that just kind of passes through. I saw on Ghost Adventures recently, there's a recent episode on Ghost Adventures that's right by where I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I found it very fascinating because they talked about how there was a woman that died, and they didn't go into details about her death, but how she died on a road. And I thought that was very funny because last year a woman had killed herself on my old road. And they didn't give the exact location, but it's very close. It's very close in North Scottsdale. Like, they showed the hiking around here. I'm wondering if it's the same woman and if she could be haunting the whole area. But I remember there was blood all over the dirt road, and I went by and I asked the police what had happened. They said they couldn't tell me. And then I found out, like, through another person, that it was a woman that had committed suicide. I mean, they didn't tell me. At first I thought maybe somebody got murdered. I didn't know. I knew someone died. Anyway, so I'm wondering if that woman might be kind of something that comes around through this area now, because that was just last year. But yeah, I'm having all kinds of paranormal stuff and dreams mainly, just lots of dreams. We were talking about that.
Yeah, they're very vivid, and it seems like everyday life. Like, there's a lot of times where I think there's a new dish soap, but there's not, so I gotta go get some. But I remember it being there, but that was in my dream. Like, different things that just align with my everyday life, and I don't know. It's kind of tiring. I don't know if that's part of the reason I feel so drained. Yeah, it's like you're awake the whole time, even though you're kind of sleeping. You're not quite there. You're just still going through your cycle of life.
It's basically like astral traveling. Yeah, it is though. It's like you're astral traveling, and it's a collective thing because you're encountering people in your dream state that you encounter in your awakened state, and a lot of times it's because you're all kind of going through the emotions, but just on a close plane to this plane, you know. Close dimension to this dimension. It's astraling, but it's not like a fun dimension. It's just like daily activities and things that are on your mind. It's a combination of things that are on your mind, and sometimes you leave your body and try to take care of them in your sleep, and then you don't really get sleep and you're tired, like you said.
Yeah, and then the cycle of once I'm awake, now I'm awake, and yeah, it's too much. Too much.
I've always been like that. Once I'm awake, and I can't sleep during the daytime, and I cannot take a nap. I don't know why.
Well, as a teenager, I could sleep always, and then I think once I hit 30, once I was awake, and then I went back through the phase again recently where I could sleep through anything, and now I'm back to the being awake. I wish I could just go back to sleep. I'll try for hours. It doesn't work.
Me too.
No matter how much sleep I've gotten, no matter how much sleep I need, I'm not getting it. But hopefully it's for the better. Right now it doesn't seem like it, but it could be.
I take Advil PM. Sometimes I'll take it every night and then stop. Lately I've been taking it like every other night. Just because I don't even want to play the game. Because I know it's going to happen. Yeah. Well, that's partially it too. Like, I haven't been drinking wine lately, and usually that, like 2 glasses of red wine at night, will usually knock me out. What is that? Van Rock
Station, yeah. Got that.
Right. Oh, it's a Moscato. That's too sweet for me. But I bet they have other types
you
besides
could put
Moscato.
some, like, spritzer in there, whether it's ginger ale or whatever. Make it better.
True. But I haven't been drinking at all lately. Partially because, like, I'm kind of, like, I don't know, I have broken legs, I'm kind of down, and it's a depressant, and I just don't want to, like, put myself in, I'm already in a weird, anxious, and kind of depressive state where I'm, like, teetering, so I don't want to drop it down worse with any type of alcohol.
Yeah, and plus,
and
like,
it's no fun to
pain
drink
medication.
alone. Nobody likes to drink alone.
Yeah, pain medication and such, like, it's not good for your liver and kidneys and everything. So.
Oh no, I'm not on any pain medication. They didn't give me crap at the hospital, so
What?
they gave me like 3 days worth of pain meds, and it was gone in 4 days. So
is that from the hospital or like
from the
Durango
hospital.
Orthopedics or somebody? Like, come on.
Oh, in Arizona.
That's ridiculous.
In Arizona. Oh no, but this is right when the coronavirus stuff started. This was on St. Patrick's Day, right? And so then they told me to call my doctor, and my doctor never returned my phone call for a refill because the hospital only they're only illegally allowed, or they're only allowed, they said, I don't know if it's their own regulations, to give me like a certain amount, and they don't write refills. And that was fine. I don't like pain pills at all. They usually make me nauseous, but I mean, low dose ones I was okay. Like whatever they gave me was like low dose, low, like 5 milligram. But still, they sent me home a few hours after surgery, and they gave me enough for 4 days, and I was like dying for the first 2 weeks. But I mean, I don't have any pain now. Like,
well, when I broke my foot off, like, my medication didn't touch it, so I was eating some CBDs and stuff, and that actually helped. And I was worried about the whole being addicted or whatnot, which didn't happen. And then they gave me a nerve blocker as well to help to block the pain receptors and such while it's healing. And that really did help.
Awesome. I'm trying peptides for a faster healing process now. It's supposed to help repair the nerve because I don't have pain, but I have very strange nerve things. Like my foot will be on fire, or it'll feel like I have knives in my toes, or I don't feel like it's freezing cold. Like I get these weird, or it'll just start jolting, kind of like it's being electrocuted, like at night. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Nerves are weird.
You're like, what the hell is that? It's a ghost. Just kidding.
I'm being electrocuted. Yeah, I've woken up like that too, like just like the nerves feeling like they're being electrocuted. Kind of funny.
See what?
Ass butts. Well, we have about T-minus 20 minutes and counting. We did have a late start. We were trying to do our YouTube Live and our Facebook Live and wherever else it went, but I don't think this is the laptop I should be working on. I think I need to go back to my old one. I think this one is better. I don't know. I tried and it was all glitchy at first, and then I just shut it down and did this instead because I'd rather have a good show than trying to do that and have a shitty show. No shit show.
Yeah. What internet connection have you got, Tessa? Is it fiber optic, or are you using Wi-Fi, or what?
I have the Ethernet cords connected to both of them, and I'm not using this one. I shut that down too. Nobody's here, so there's no Wi-Fi being used. So it should be fine, but I think it's this one just doesn't have everything it needs. This one I haven't been using because the power cord sometimes doesn't work, but I have it in like the prime spot where it does. When I push the power button, it'll come on instead of having to mess with the cord. But it has the video chip and everything I need, and it's better, even though it's 7 years old. It's better than this newer one I have. I just don't think it can hang. But I've noticed recently that not only the internet, but cell phone service has been really shitey recently.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. How funny you mentioned that. Have you noticed, like, I'm getting calls dropped all the time. Wonder if it has to do with the 5G towers they're putting up.
I don't know.
Conspiracy.
Dun dun dun. How about in Scotland and Australia? Do you guys have issues with telephones and internet, or is everything a-okay?
Well, here, you've had people setting fire to the 5G tower, and somewhere over in the mainland in the Glasgow area, people were setting fire. They'd opened up the covers and got access to the internet cables, the Ethernet cables, and were setting them in fire. And a lot of businesses and domestic users were affected by it. So that's just badness. But the G5 towers, there's none here on the island, and I don't think anybody actually needs it because the the broadband we've got and the Wi-Fi that we've got with the 4G is sufficient for everybody else. I don't think you're going to see a big demand for it up here on the islands, but they're putting these things up anyway, and they're telling you there's no ill effects from it, but you're going to get ill effects from UHF radiation in any case. You know, it's the likes of the engineers go up. You look at one of these towers where there's more than one company got their clysterons up there. They send me up to fix Paradox Media's, check it out, see it's all right. That'll be switched off, but the other ones are still in operation, and up there getting hit with this microwave radiation. Now, if you look at a warship, you'll see a big sign mounted on the forward part of the ship where you've got the clysteron, the radar dishes up there turning. A big notice, white with bold red light, do not proceed above this height if clysteron is in operation. That's to warn you you're going to get fried. And a friend of mine, that's what her husband was. He was a BT engineer. And he started suddenly not to feel well. And Jenny was kept up, look, go to the doctor and get checked out. Sent him to the hospital for a scan and gave him 6 weeks. And 6 weeks to the day, the guy was gone. And I'm certain that's what it was that did it. If you're going to work on any of these things, all of that equipment should be shut down. Everybody's. But they don't do that. So I'm very wary about when they suddenly tell you this is going to do the greatest thing ever under the sun with the 5G. And most people don't need it. It's a novelty, you know, it's a thing. He's got 5G. I better get it as well then. You know, get conned into buying these things or signing up for these things when they really don't need it. You could say that's just big business, but to me there's a certain amount of conning going on. You know, you're being conned into saying, thinking this, accepting that, and it's, oh, well, everybody else has got it, well, I suppose it's okay. But I don't think it works that way.
Well, my cell phone can't even figure out 4G, so 5G, forget about it. It's ridiculous.
I only ever use it if I'm over in Stornoway and calling for a taxi. That's the only time I ever use it. And it's never used. I've got to go and charge it up because the battery drains all the time. So, and there's a new battery that's in it. So I've got to charge before I go over. So that's the only time I ever use it in any case. And I don't have that. I could have. But we're known here in this part of the island as they call it a hotspot. It means if you're cruising past, you can tune into my Wi-Fi, and it's you're using my usage. You know, you end up they tell you you've used this amount, your limit. You're approaching your limit when you haven't actually used anything at all. So it's I wouldn't have it. Don't need it. Wouldn't have it. There's Robert.
Yeah, for down here, I know a few places that are still using 3G for doing the card swipes. So if they're still able to use 3G for that, then why are they upping it to 5G?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, the back of all of this is money. You know, somebody's an opportunity to make more money out of selling things that people really don't need. You know, so that's the same old story. What was it the man said? Money is the root of all evil. Bob Dylan said, money doesn't talk, it swears. He was right there.
I had to mute my mic. My dogs are going crazy. It's probably just deer. Or it could be that little girl. But yeah, I don't think we're ready for it, and they're kind of trying to force it on us. But yeah, like most of our technology that we all have does not fit. You know, it's not going to work. And they're talking about birds already being depopulated. Like this supposedly kills them off pretty hardcore. There's been so many different random rumors about it. I don't know what to believe or not to because I haven't seen the effects yet.
Yeah, well, down in England it showed you this stretch of road. And as far as you could see, there was nothing but dead birds on it. And they said it was a lightning strike that hit the flock of birds. It must have been starlings. There's millions of them in Britain. And you begin to wonder, well, was it a lightning strike? How close were they to any of these towers? And if they're trying to experiment with these things, this 5G, and a lot of people are convinced that that's what it was. It caused that. There was thousands. I can't remember how many thousands of birds all to die at the same time. You know, it doesn't add up. There's got to be a source. If it was a lightning strike, and people are saying there was no notice of lightning, we didn't have any lightning here when this happened. It's been something else. So it's just one of these kind of other modern mysteries that's appeared. But for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever it is, I strongly suspect that they were using something, and that's what killed the birds. If the people that live there tell you there was no thunder, there was no lightning, well, what was it that killed them then? No, this doesn't all decide to die. I don't think so. The white powder on my shoulders is dandruff. It ain't sawdust.
Right? I don't know. All I know is it's crazy times we're living in, and I'm not trying to be paranoid, but I'm trying to be cautious and cover all my bases. And
yeah,
but
the
only... Go ahead.
You know, they're putting stress on us all the time, even in the subconscious. I mean, you've got the kids, you get yourself, you've got Fern, you've got everybody else is concerned. I'm concerned that my brother and his wife, they'll get severe underlying health problems, and they're in a care home. I was over there last year, beautiful place, they're well looked after. My sister, she stays about 8 miles from me. She's up towards the top end of the island, and she too has got underlying health problems. So she started self-isolate long before this started, because 2 years ago, both her brother and Marie had the flu jab, right? And they both ended up on rest ventilators. Brother on the mainland, my sister, they flew her over to Inverness, where the big hospital is there. First question they asked them, 2 years ago, have you had the flu jab, flu vaccination? So there's more people dying of this flu vaccination, and that's the thing. If they could prove it, the British government would be bankrupt. You know, people bringing actions against them right, left, and centre. So there's, I don't know. You're trying to see how we're going to get out of this. They're talking about extending the lockdown. People are going to go crazy. It's bad enough in the winter time up here anyway. If I build any more ships, model ships and planes, I'll have more in the United States and Russia combined. You're looking for that. There's work that you can do in the winter time. There's other work that you can't. The only good thing about I can do is I'm researching a lot of stuff, UFOs, early reports, going over the early reports and looking at them. As I say, this has got my interest, this thing about over in the Standing Stones at Callanish. So I've got that to keep us occupied, but other than that, I'll be biting my fingernails down to the quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's and I've always checked, Robert, on any reports of the Tasmanian tiger, the Cyacine, I think it's called, because the troopers that's out there, the park rangers, say that they've seen it. Another thing that's never been reported for a long time was the bunyip. The phantom bunyip. The Australians have got theirs out there as well. And the yowie.
There's a town dedicated to the bunyip.
Yeah.
Name of it though.
Yeah. It's you do wonder about time slips, because I think I told you before, Robert, there was an Aboriginal was attacked by one, and when the investigators came and described it, what he was describing was an iguanodon. There's exactly drawn in the iguanodon exactly the same. You say, I wonder if this is time slips. Same out in New Mexico. This couple said that they saw long-necked dinosaurs, and they were there and they were real. They saw them, and of course the paleontologist says, well, they didn't exist down there at that time, so you couldn't have seen it. And then guess what? They found the fossil long-necked dinosaurs. It's there. So Is it an imprint that's left on the time scale? Or
Well,
what?
down here too, we have sightings of T-Rex, but they're not huge mungus. They're like little tiny T-Rex, and they're a little shorter than the high grass that's grown along the side of the roads. There's pictures of them, even pterodactyl and different other things. They say they're extinct, but are they really? Like, we can't tell. We haven't researched every centimeter of the earth.
You find out that animals are take up where the food source is, and if it's miles away from human habitation, you're never going to know they're there. But they are. So is it possible? I would never say, no, it's not. It's impossible. They're all extinct long ago. And you do wonder, sometimes nature has a habit of creating throwbacks. I mean, birds are only a form of dinosaur. They branched out in the Triassic, but basically, sooner or later you're going to have a hybrid comes out. You've heard that, the saying is they're as scarce as hen's teeth. Well, they did have teeth, and when you look at the embryo of a chicken, you know, they've used on a scanner, you can see that it has teeth. So birds, what the last thing you want is a throwback or a flying pterosaur or something like that coming at you.
Well, some say that that chickens and roosters are descended from T-Rex, so there's very, very large possibility that they could be.
Yeah, well, the most intelligent bird is the members of the crow family. I actually watched one untying a knot on a garbage sack, so if you get in, didn't rip it open. The gulls do that, but they don't. And you say to yourself, geez, it's just as well these things went extinct. Because if I was about 6 feet tall and 13 feet long, I'd be in an awful lot of trouble. I think we went all, scary. So when people say that didn't happen, that isn't possible. I mean, I remember as a boy reading science fiction books, you never came across one that talked about time, other than, you know, Doctor Who time travel, or parallel worlds, or parallel universes, you know. It's how only came over the passage of time. Now you've got Mickey Okaku telling you there's umpteen dimensions, you know, there's not just 3, 4, or 5. There's a multitude of dimensions. So if you've got a multitude of dimensions, you've got a multitude of universes, you know, too difficult to get my head to wrap around that, you know, but it's things that were science fiction are now becoming fact. The only thing is that we're never going to get to hear the whole deal.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in Italy, like the different moats and stuff have cleared up so much that they've seen jellyfish and different random things, and one looks like the long-necked dinosaur that lived in the ocean, but now it's in this little streamway, but it comes right towards somebody filming. First you see the ripples, then you see its head, then its long neck, and then the fins. And at first I thought it looked like the Loch Ness, but this is more of the dinosaur-looking creature. It had the big eyes and everything. It was actually kind of cute, but kind of scary as well, all the different things that are popping up there that haven't been seen forever.
Yeah. You see that, there's a fella called Fred Holliday. He's passed away now, but he was fascinated by Loch Ness. And eventually he came across from some American museum. And it was a fossil, and if you can imagine a tiny Loch Ness monster, that's what this was, but it's what they call a gastropod, which is a snail. Now, they've never found any bones or any remains of the Loch Ness monsters. But if it was a gastropod, like a giant sea slug, you're never going to see them in any case. And he thinks that that's what the Loch Ness monster was and is. You're never going to see them, and there's a tunnel that connects it into the ocean. And it's possible, that one that you're talking about, Tessa, those were juveniles.
Mm-hmm. There's a little baby.
Yeah, these were juveniles. So we'll probably go back out to sea. I mean, you get that with eels. The eels, they travel thousands and thousands of miles to go and mate in the Saragossa Sea. And every year it's the same with salmon. Salmon will always return to where they were born. You see them jumping up these salmon runs and whatnot. As long as you don't get any Pacific salmon, with that Fukushima doing a nightmare out there. It's destroyed all sorts of life around there in their ocean. You see some of the mutated fish that come out.
And there's crazy parasites too.
Yeah.
Not fun. Well, we are at the end of our time. So Jim, thank you so much for coming on. I know it was really last minute and you were probably going to sleep instead, but I'm glad you were here because I love to hear what's going on over there with you and in your neck of the woods. I'm so glad that you're doing well and that the numbers are very low there.
Yeah, I just hope it stays that way. Right, nice to be here. Hey, Robert and Mea, nice to meet you. I think for the first time we've spoken, Mea.
Oh, I heard a pig.
I saw one. It's out of uniform too.
Oh, yeah. Ruh-roh. We need to get a ride up here real quick.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So, Mea,
nice to meet you too, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks, Mea, for being here. I know you're all crippled up and such, but I hope you had fun, and I hope you get to come hang out on the after party.
Heck yeah.
And Robert, all the way down there in Brisbane, Australia. Just kidding. It's Queensland.
I'm going to head out for a few minutes, so I'll be back soon. I don't know exactly when, but I'll be back for the after party.
Well, be safe in your travels, and tell Mum we said hello, and give her love and hugs from us. So thank you guys so much again for being on tonight. It was awesome hanging out with you, and I look forward to the after party. And thank you to all our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night when we have psychic medium Miss Nikki Jacobs on. So you guys don't forget, we are all in this together, even though some of us feel really alone. We're all in this together, and together we can make the world a bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. If you would like to join us on the Skype after party, look us up at tessa.n.thomas30 or give us a jingle at 1-970-335-9596. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light. Guys, take care of my yous, take care of your family, make sure you're following protocol, staying safe, and I'll see you back here, same time, same place, tomorrow night.